Welcome back to Just Drive It. Today we're going to give you the what, the how, and the why on our suspension change here. Come along with us. Okay, here's what we've got. I'm going to show you as I have it laid out. We're going to be changing tie rod ends. We have a brand new drag link because the other one was bent. The other tie rod ends. This is actually a roller idler arm. We have the brand new control arms. And we have this kit here, which is the bolts with the different eccentrics for getting our adjustments in. We're going to be replacing spring purchase to roller spring purchase. We've showed you these before. We're also going to double adjustable Viking shocks. And so this is basically what we're going to be changing out. We may do this in one big episode. It may be more than one. But this is what we've got. Okay, this is where we're at. As you can see, I never did really bolt up that power steering piece. That was just to get the car mobile again. But you've got 4 bolt holes or bolts right there that hold your actual steering box on. So we'll be putting the original steering box back onto this car. These, I'm going to have to get a new boot for it because it's ripped. But these are brand new upper ball joints. However, up here, we're having a lot of trouble with the rubber bushings in them. You can see this is not too great with our shock, so we're going to be changing out that piece there. The upper control arms, as far as we know, are good shape. So you can see we've got a lot of stuff to do. One of the things, and the reason why we're going to different ends on this right here, as far as inner and outer tie rods, instead of using what's right here, is there's a difference between the Granada stuff, and that is an actual Granada setup along with the Granada brakes. But there's a difference in the size of the outer tie rod where it bolts up there. So these were specifically sourced so that these would fit over here with the Fairlane stuff, but with the Granada spindle. So that's why that stuff's like that. The other reason with these being the roller purchase, it's going to move through and articulate way better than it does with the rubber, because the rubber is actually binding on it. And then these, well, that's self-explanatory. Much better. We can go from soft to drag race to road race, however we want it. Here's what we've got. We're going to go through and we're going to pre-assemble these. Now, you're going to want to go through on this collar here and insert it just a little bit so that they're going. You've got a regular thread and a reverse thread on these so that when you just spin the center, it'll move it in or out. The other thing that we did is we took a measuring tape and we went over to our other piece over here. By measuring what we found out is that center to center on this one, it's 16 inches. This is going to be your driver's side. But what we also found out is the passenger side is actually set center to center at 16 and a half. So initially what we're going to do is we're going to set up both sides to the same to the proper length according to this, and that'll get us ballpark so that when we go to get our alignment done at the alignment shop, they can go from there. But that should get us a pretty close. There's also a way where you can take a flat surface and we can set toe in and toe out, that type of stuff as well, which can be adjusted with this as well. And we may try that, we may just leave it up to the shop. We'll see. Here we have the idler arm that came off of this thing. You can see we've dropped part of the others. And here is the newest member that's going to go on there. It's secured It's secured by bolts through here with locking nuts on the other side. We're going to put this one on here in a second. Alright, this is the piece. Right here was power steering, but this is out of the Granada, and you can see the difference on a manual versus power assist setup. This Granada setup is very, very similar to what, in fact, it's exactly like the setup that was on the 65 Fairlane. Okay, this right here is what we call a camber kit. Stock wise, you actually have an eccentric style bolt. This one's actually off a little bit, but I can spin it around. But this allows you to go through and coincide these pieces up here, if I can look at it, so that your alignment stays where it needs to be for your camber. Now this one's beat up on that side, and not so much on that one. This one right here. So what ends up happening is you can set, instead of having something that's loose and can move around, which this one is actually screwed up enough that it won't hold correctly, these go in there and positively locate what you're doing. So we're installing these on that lower control arm, and that's part of our steering and suspension on the lower part. Alright, that's what it's supposed to look like when you put those plates in for the camber kit. There's multiple ones that you can get, like I showed over there. We've got a 1 through 5, with 1 being dead center, but this will help us dial this sucker in. We now have lower control arms on both sides. I just got to put back together the disc brake on that side and put in some cotter pins, and I believe that's it for the steering and the lower suspension. Well, here we are, 5 hours in to get everything straightened out on this sucker. Not exactly what we wanted, but we got it pretty close. Adjusted our caster there, camber there, toe there at the tie rod ends. Everything's greased. Didn't get it 100% what the specs wanted to be, but we got it pretty close, as close as we could get it on this thing.